Namaste Bitia, myself JVN Neha Chani from Physiotherapy and Diagnostics, Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. Here I am going to tell you about the anatomy of the ureter. Ureters are the muscular tube which are transporting urine from kidney to urinary bladder. The length is from 20 to 30 centimeters long. It begins as a continuation of renal pelvis. So in the last class of kidney we have discussed about the renal pelvis. So it is the continuation of the renal pelvis at the lower pole of the kidney. So here we can see this is the lower pole of the kidney, and up to this point this is known as pelvis, and below the lower pole of the kidney the continuation of the pelvis is known as the ureter proper. Now the course of the ureter. The ureter begins with the renal sinus as renal pelvis. The ureter passes downwards and slightly medially on the psoas muscle. So here we can see the psoas muscle. This is the psoas muscle, and the ureter is passing medially on the psoas muscle. It enters the pelvis by crossing in front of the termination of common iliac artery. So common iliac artery is what? This is the abdominal aorta, and this is the common iliac artery. It then bifurcates into internal iliac, and this is external iliac artery. So at the termination of this common iliac artery, the ureter enters into the pelvic cavity. After entry into the pelvis, it reaches the base of the bladder, and it enters the bladder wall obliquely and open into the lateral angle of the trigone. So there are three parts of the ureter, that is pelvis, abdominal part and the pelvic part. First is the pelvis. It is a funnel shape with dilatation at the upper part. It is highlighted with red color over here. This is the pelvis part, and it is formed by the union of major calyxes. So what is major calyx? It is formed by the minor calyx. This is your pyramid, the renal pyramid. It opens into the minor calyx. This is minor calyx, and then 3 to 4 minor calyxes join to form this major calyx. So major calyxes unite to form the renal pelvis. Then it passes downwards and medially through the hilum, and the capacity of the renal pelvis is 5 to 7 ml. Now the abdominal part of the ureter. It passes downwards and medially by passing beneath the peritoneum. It enters into the pelvic cavity by crossing the termination of the common iliac artery. So here we can see this is the termination of the common iliac artery, and it passes medially to enter into the pelvic cavity. Then the third part, that is the pelvic part of the ureter. It passes downwards beneath the peritoneum along the greater sciatic notch and reaches the ischial spine. So here we can see at the termination of the common iliac artery, it is passing medially and enters into the pelvic cavity, and then it turns medially in front of the ischial spine to reach the base of the bladder, that is the posterior part of the bladder, to open into it. Now it pierces the musculature of the bladder, undergoes oblique course downwards and medially through the bladder, and opens into the interior of the urinary bladder. Now the normal constrictions of the ureter. Constrictions means the narrowings. So ureter has some narrowings in its course, and these are important landmarks for the surgical intervention during there is lodgement of the renal calculi in the ureter. So the normal constrictions of the ureter includes first, that is the pelvic-ureteric junction, that is the junction between the pelvis of the ureter and the ureter proper. So this is the first narrowing. Next is the at the brim of the lesser pelvis. So at the brim means at the bifurcation of the common iliac artery. This is the pelvic brim. So at this point also ureter gets narrowed. Next is the point of crossing of ureter by ductus deferens and broad ligament of the uterus. So here we can see at the passage of vas deferens, or when it in females it is the broad ligament of uterus, where it crosses the broad ligament it is again get narrowed. Then the fourth narrowing is at the passage through the bladder wall. So when it pierces the bladder wall it becomes again narrowed, and the fifth constriction is where when it opens into the bladder, so at the trigone. So these are the 5 constrictions of the ureter. Now what are the factors which prevent the reflux of the urine? It is the oblique direction of the intravesical part of the ureter. So oblique direction prevents the reflux of the urine. Next is the peristaltic movement of the uretral muscles. So these muscles at 2 to 5 times per minute shows peristaltic movement, and the urine is collected in the bladder in jets, not continuously. So these two factors prevent the reflux or backflow of the urine again into the ureter. Now the nerve supply of the ureter. It is supplied by sympathetic as well as parasympathetic nerve fibers. The sympathetic nerve fibers are reaching through T10 to L1 spinal nerve. T means thoracic spinal nerve, and the L is lumbar spinal nerve. So first lumbar spinal nerve, they are supplying to the sympathetic innervation to the ureter. Next is the parasympathetic innervation. It is supplied by the sacral nerves, that is S2, S3, S4 spinal nerves. Then the blood supply. So blood supply of the ureter, it is divided into three parts. The upper part is supplied by the branches from the renal artery. Renal artery is the direct branch from the abdominal aorta, and it is the artery which is supplying to the kidney. So it is giving the blood supply to the upper part of the ureter. In the middle part, there is direct branch from the abdominal aorta. Here we can see there is direct branch from the abdominal aorta to supply the ureter. Then in the pelvic part, there are the branches like basical artery, middle rectal arteries, and uterine vessels which supply the ureter. Now the some clinical features regarding the ureter. The ureter is readily identified in life by its thick muscular wall, which is seen to undergo worm-like, that is vermicular writhing movements, continuous peristaltic movements, particularly if gently stroked or squeezed. So in this way, in the patients undergoing some surgeries of the abdomen, this ureter can be identified. Now the second is the ureter has constriction, as we have discussed. So these constrictions, these narrowings are helpful for lodging of the calculus at these constrictions, and thus the surgeon can easily identify the lodging of these renal calculi or any calculus at these points or at these narrowings. Next, in searching of the ureteric stone on a plain radiograph of the abdomen, one must imagine the course of the ureter in relation to the bony skeleton. So in the X-ray, it lies in front of the tip of the transverse processes. It crosses in front of the sacroiliac joint. It swings out to the ischial spine and then passes medially to the urinary bladder. An oblique shadow along this line is suspicious of the calculus. So this calculus can be identified in the X-ray with the help of the Sarod mark. This course of the ureter is readily studied by examining the radiograph during radio-opaque ureter catheter in the C2. Next is the ureteric colic. Ureteric colic means pain. It is the intense colicky pain in the loin or in groin. So there is kidney pain, which is tenderness at the costovertebral angle, and this is the pain of the ureteric colic because of the lodgement of the any calculi in the ureter. Next is the ureterocele. Ureterocele means this small cavity-like structure, this ballooning of the lower end of the ureter in the opening of the ureter into the trigone of the bladder, this causing the ureterocele. Then next is the duplex ureter. Duplex means if there is double ureter present on one side, then this is known as duplex ureter. Now the questions regarding this topic, these include: write short note on constrictions of the ureter. It is very important questions. In this you have to draw a diagram also along with mentioning the constrictions, that is the narrowings. Next is the blood supply of the ureter. It is very important question regarding your viva and practical examination. What are the arteries which are supplying to the ureter? Next is, this is the exercise for your file. You have to draw this diagram and label all the structures which are demarcated and lumbered in this diagram. This is the next exercise for you. You have to draw again this diagram in your files and discuss about the narrowings of the ureter, that is ureteric constrictions. So this completes your topic, the anatomy of the ureter. Thank you.